Right everyone, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my match recap slash review of Chelsea's 2-0 win at home against Newcastle United, propelling Thomas Tuchel's Blues into 4th place, into a Champions League spot. Obviously, early days, a lot of teams around us, I think West Ham are level on points, but nevertheless it is nice to see us finally back in that top 4 place and seeing Liverpool surprisingly move down the ranks all the way down to 6th, I believe, but it was Chelsea against Newcastle, and maybe not the most enthralling game. We've been saying that quite a lot about a lot of our games recently. However, 3 points is what matters most, and I'll be going over all the key moments as well as giving you guys my player ratings and my player of the season point scoring system as well. So if you enjoy, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the match, and as always, do subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. But getting into the starting 11, one big surprise in it as I get into it, and that was Kepa Arrizabalaga starting in goal. I could not believe my eyes, to be honest. He had a decent showing against Barnsley. I didn't think, like I said in my preview, that was going to amount to him starting this game. A lot of people at the start thinking this was a boards thing. Maybe they were thinking to themselves, oh, new manager, maybe a new Kepa, we've invested 70 million into him, maybe we want to see him starting more. However, after the game, Tuchel did confirm that Mendy's still the number one, that maybe he was giving him a bit of a mental rest. So, fair enough, I guess, if that is the case. Luckily, it did not hinder us in this game, and Kepa was actually okay, made 1 or 2 decent saves, so you can't really hinder him too much on that. And also, his distribution was decent as well, so hopefully a bit of a confidence builder for him. We saw the back three like we all expected: Rudiger, Christensen and Aspi. Saw Alonso and Hudson-Odoi on the wing backs. I thought we'd see Reece James and Hudson-Odoi further forwards, but I'm glad that we didn't, because it did mean that Tammy Abraham started up front, which we'll get onto why that was a bit of a sad thing later on. Kovacic, Jorginho in that midfield, Mount, Werner, Abraham in the front three, and as the game started, just a lot of control by us. We controlled most of the game in the midfield, kind of similar to a lot of how our games have gone with Tuchel as our manager in this 3-4-3 formation. Abraham at one point made a really, really nice run, but he was taken out by Lascelles, and penalty was not given, and that did injure Abraham and take him out of the match very early on. I believe like 15-20 minutes in, he had to come off, which was a big shame. I was glad to see him in the team, see him get a chance after scoring against Barnsley, and just luck does not seem to be on this guy's side at the moment. A bit of a shame as well. New managers come in, you get injured, maybe not the best, but I'm sure with Tammy's mentality he can hopefully recover. Hopefully the injury isn't too serious. It did look like a pretty nasty one from Lascelles. I'm not sure if it was a penalty, to be honest. However, Lascelles did have a few dodgy moments in this game, which didn't seem to be picked up at all by the referee or VAR. So, it seems like VAR lately, and not just for us, but for other teams, it seems like, when a player is low on confidence and they're sort of not trying things and they're sort of afraid to shoot, it's like almost like VAR is low on confidence and they're almost afraid to, trying to talk about different decisions or question the referees. So it will be interesting. I think VAR's a good thing and you'll eventually get the balance, but it seems to be on a bit of poor form at the moment, I guess you could say. But Giroud came on for Abraham pretty early on, and Giroud was the man that scored. Some good work from Timo Werner in the first half. Runs down the left, jukes out the defender's one to the left again, crossing with his left foot, goalkeeper spills it off to Giroud, who pretty much has an open net to shoot into, so decent for Giroud to come on. Didn't think he did much else in this game, but he got the goal, which is what you want your striker to do. Werner, carrying on his good work from that Sheffield United game, and his crossing or deliveries, cutbacks into the box do seem to be quite good. I've noticed this the last handful of games while he hasn't been scoring, and I've noticed that his actual delivery into the box actually isn't that bad, so fair enough to him. Maybe some frustrating moments in the game where Alonso was further forward than him, which could be good tactically, but a bit frustrating. One thing I've noticed about Alonso, and he didn't have a bad game against Newcastle, by the way, but he just can't get in behind. There was times where he was running into space and there was a big gap in front of him, and the defender would just catch up to him very easily. So a bit of a shame, having him there. Maybe Chilwell will be a bit more of a threat in that situation. But like I said, it's kind of hard to take players out and put other ones in when they're performing well, and that is what Alonso and a lot of these other players have been doing. I thought Kovacic did very well this game, pulled the strings a lot of good runs, progressing the ball. His shooting does frustrate me. It frustrates me when he does shoot because he's just not very good. If he could improve that slightly, he probably would be a class midfielder. Good defensive work, and some, being a lot more progressive with his passes. And he's definitely outshining Jorginho a little bit in these more recent games. And I'd say Jorginho was maybe the more impressive at the start. But he just had the world-class game. I thought Kovacic. I think some people like to jump on Kovacic doing well very quickly. They seem to be saying, he'll have one good game and everyone will go, he's world-class, he's amazing. And I'm not saying he can't be. He's still I've got age a bit on his side, I think. But I don't know. I don't want to get too carried away because, like a lot of the players that are in this 11, I don't trust them yet to be consistent. There's a period of games we have coming up later, I think, against United, Atletico and Everton. We'll see how this team does in those games, and if they do well, then they'll definitely be a lot more on boards. But we haven't come up against the toughest opposition lately. When we came up against Spurs, they had no Kane and they were pretty poor, to be honest. And it wasn't too long after that goal from Giroud that Timo Werner actually ended his goal drought. I believe it's 1,000 minutes or something he hasn't scored in, and he did do it not without its own all over the place, almost not counting as a goal. It did go over the line, but Giroud could have handballed it. It luckily didn't hit his hand, and it came from a corner which Werner managed to knock in. He's very good at pulling it away from his man at that far post, and it paid off for him this time with a goal. And Werner, he was getting a bit battered, at points in this match. He was looking good, getting fouled maybe a few times. And I guess he tasted blood, and he eventually did score his goal to make it 2-0 going into half-time. Second half, guys, not really much to talk about. It was great seeing Werner to get his goal earlier, but we and this has been a theme with our side under Tuchel, is we do seem to shut down shop a bit and sort of get a bit less exciting. We sort of bring in a bit more pressure from the other team. We did see Kante and Reece James come on later for Mount and for Hudson-Odoi. So obviously a bit more of a defensive change there. Reece James looks good when he came on, so did Kante. But it just sort of shows how when we get to a certain point, Tuchel's not really looking to finish games and score more goals. He's more looking to just sort of close down stuff. So Chelsea games recently have not been the most exciting, to be honest. But at the end of the day, when you come in halfway through the season, you need to get top 4. I understand why maybe we are taking a bit more of the disciplined approach to try and get those 3 points. It worries me a bit about games in the future against the tougher teams, but I guess at the moment it's working, so fair enough. Not much happened in this half. Kepa made a decent save. But besides that, that was how the game ended. Chelsea 2, Newcastle 0. And like I said, the 3 points that gets us into top 4, which is lovely. We all love to see it. And hopefully we can carry this on. The game against Southampton, who are not in the best form. I do find that when we come up against teams that aren't in the best form, they seem to play a bit better. So who knows if that. It'll be interesting to see if we see a different system against Southampton. Obviously they play with a much more higher line, so I'm not too sure if Tuchel will change the formation or not. I'm not too sure, but we will see. That game not too far away on the Saturday. Obviously my preview for that will be up the day that match does take place. You guys can stay tuned for that. But decent performance, solid one. Newcastle didn't really offer much, didn't have Wilson, were quite poor. So you can't take loads from these sorts of games, but still positive step in the right direction for Thomas Tuchel. After the game as well, you saw players smiling, having a good time, and that is what you do like to see. But guys, that was it. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. If I get onto my player ratings, obviously 6, like I say, is the base rating for an average performance. I'm going to give Kepa Arrizabalaga a 7.5 out of 10. Now, he kept the clean sheet, obviously, and actually did make a couple of decent saves. Now, maybe I'm being a bit nice to him because the thing is, and I saw some people, maybe put him in the sort of conversation for man of the match, and not going to lie, guys, let's be real. If Eduard Mendy was in goal and he put in the same performance that Kepa just did, people probably wouldn't be talking about it, and that's because that is sort of the performance you expect from your goalkeeper. And because it's Kepa, some people are saying it's better than maybe it is. And I'll be generous. I'll give Kepa a 7.5 out of 10. If Mendy did that, I'd probably give him a 7. But you know what? It's nice to see Kepa have a bit of confidence. It's nice to see him make some saves. So fair enough, I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10. But I don't think he'll be getting that if he pulls off this sort of performance again in the future. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for this one. Now, going into the back three, going to vary my scores a bit. I'm going to give Rudiger a 7 out of 10. I thought he did decent, did some nice balls and long balls across the forward line, so I thought that he played well. Defence didn't really have too much to do. I'd say when Newcastle did sort of break through occasionally, it was more down maybe the middle, so I don't know if I can have a go at Rudiger for that really. Thought it was decent from him, not too much to say because he didn't really need to do much either. 7 out of 10 for him. Christensen going to give a 6.5 now. Again, kept a clean sheet, decent stuff. I thought his passing was fine. However, when Newcastle did eventually break through some moments, I did find them getting past him when it was his man, so going to score him a bit lower. Hopefully Thiago Silva is back soon. Nothing against Christensen, but I just think you can see the difference in quality there between the two. Or hopefully we go to a 4 at the back and see Zuma. Obviously you guys know that I want that to happen. Azpilicueta is going to get a 7.5 out of 10. Thought he was our best of the back three. Think he did some very nice work running down as well, getting the yards on him, and when he was making some very nice runs from our box to the other box. We almost saw a replication of that goal he scored against Burnley, but unfortunately did not hit the back of the net. Almost scored a header as well from the corner, which when we don't have Zuma in the team or Abraham, obviously we need some people to step up with the corners, and that is what he did, unfortunately forcing a good save from Darlow, I believe, in the Newcastle goal. 7.5 from him. Alonso's going to get a 7. Kept a clean sheet. Did some alright work. Like I said, a bit frustrating that he can't really get in behind when there's opportunities for him to do so. So yeah, again, the standard game from him. Nothing too impressive, but kept the clean sheet and was fine, in my opinion. Hudson-Odoi is going to get a 7.5. Attacking down that right wing like normal, his work rate's good. He's getting in behind, he's, creating issues. And maybe he needs to try and, I don't know, right wing back. You don't really need to see him scoring loads of goals, but, maybe he needs to, I guess, be a bit more risky in maybe, taking a shot when maybe he looks for the pass more. Not that that's a bad thing. Still a 7.5. Caused a lot of issues to Newcastle, like he's been doing in this position to a lot of other teams. So fair play to him, another solid performance. Midfield 2, going to give Jorginho a 6.5 out of 10. Didn't really notice him, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wouldn't say he was really creating a lot. I wouldn't say he was as progressive as maybe we've seen him. Just a lot of other players I think outshone him in this performance. And I think a 6.5 is what I'm going to give him. Maybe harsh, let me know in the comments below what you think. Kovacic, however, is going to get an 8.5 out of 10. A great performance from him. Pushing forward, he's always been good at getting out of those tight situations. His creativity, or at least his progressiveness with passes, has got a lot better. I need to credit him for that. I thought it was a very good performance from him. Like I said, not going to get too carried away yet because he has been known to dip in and out. However, he's getting consistent game time now, and maybe that is going to be the difference that makes his performances go up that other level. If he could just add a bit more of a goal threat, or at least getting his shots on target, he'd probably be up there even more. And decent work from him. And whilst I want to see Mount tried in the midfield, whilst I want to see Kante, you can't really put them in when Kovacic and Jorginho are putting up these consistently decent performances. So fair play to him, 8.5 out of 10. Going into the front three, Mason Mount's going to get a 7 out of 10. Not his best game in the Chelsea shirt, was still good though, pressed a lot, and did some nice passages of play. You could see he maybe wanted to get that goal, was trying to look for some form, couldn't unfortunately get it this time around. But yeah, even when he's not performing to his best, he's still putting a decent performance, so 7 out of 10 for him. Werner's going to get an 8 out of 10. Again, just his performance carrying over from Sheffield, some other games as well. Always lively. Got the sort of assist for Giroud's goal. Obviously it deflected, but he created the problem. He got his first goal in what has been ages. I think an 8 out of 10 for him is fair. I think he's going to be a frustrating player in the sense that he is going to give away the ball sometimes. He is going to get out-muscled sometimes, so we need to be a bit patient with that. Obviously, he needs to learn how to play against these deep block teams, and he's doing well, and he's doing decently against them at the moment, so fair play to him, 8 out of 10. Lastly, Abraham didn't really have much to do. I thought he made a very good run for that potential foul from Lascelles, but he did get injured, and he did do a poor header before then, so if I'm just basing him on that short period of time, I'm going to give him a 5.5. Sort of that injury taken into account as well. It just, in terms of for him, it was obviously a very a game to forget. Hopefully the injury's not serious, and I'm sure he can bounce back with his mentality and get back into the team and score some more goals for us. He's still our top scorer. I believe him, Giroud and Werner have all scored over 10 goals in all competitions. So that's nice to see. It just seems they can't all score at the same time. So hopefully if they all get on the same page there, and we could see this team maybe destroy some other teams. If Tuchel doesn't shut up shop too early. Hopefully we see a few more entertaining games in the future, but like I said, it is the results that do matter at the moment. Giroud's going to get a 7 on the bench, and came on, got the goal, which is what you love to see. Didn't really notice him too much besides then, to be honest. Kante's getting a 6 out of 10, came on, did his job, but didn't really have much time to do anything. Reece James, I'm actually going to give a 6.5 just because he impressed me how he sort of came on and filled that role from Hudson-Odoi, did some decent defensive work, but also pushed up, got a few shots off, found himself in space. So I think he had a little decent showing off the bench from him. It'll be interesting to see, though, if we do see a 4 at the back formation against Southampton, who do play a bit differently than the teams we have faced. So that should prove to be interesting if we see any new faces in the team. But those are going to be my ratings, guys. If I get onto my player of the season point scoring system, you guys know that I prefer to just give, one player each score. However, I think there was a few good performances in this match. So I'm going to give 1 point to 3 players, and those are going to be Kepa Arrizabalaga, Cesar Azpilicueta, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, all going to get the 1 point for me. Kepa, maybe if he did this performance again, wouldn't be getting that sort of score. However, I think that, he needs the confidence boost. May as well give him the point. This is probably going to be one of his only opportunities to get a point in this, to be fair. Azpilicueta, decent defensive work, and, I liked his energy, and for someone his age, he's definitely shown he's still got quality. I think this is definitely the way to use him if we do use 3 at the back. I think if we go to 4 at the back, you want Reece James there, because he has just got that bit better physicality and pace. But Aspi doing well in this 3 at the back role. Hudson-Odoi again, causing issues up and down the pitch. Maybe not his best game for us, but still a very solid one. And he is thriving with his starts under Thomas Tuchel. 2 points, they're going to go to Timo Werner. Again, probably not going to get the 3 for me. I know it was a debate between him and Kovacic who man of the match was. Not going to give it to Werner just because even though he got his goal, the assist that I thought was good as well. Just a few frustrating moments where he was asking for fouls that I didn't think were fouls. He got bullied a few times off the ball. So I don't think it was an all-round great performance. Like I said, second half he didn't really see much from the attackers either. First half he was quality though, so going to give him an 8 out of 10, or I should say the 2 points in the player of the season point scoring system. Meaning the 3 points obviously go to Mateo Kovacic. Really stepped up his game since Tuchel has come in. Why I don't necessarily trust him, because I know he can always fall back down, that hole of maybe, not being as great. But, he did well. Still frustrating at some points, but his ball progression has improved loads. His passing range has improved loads. And he's always been decent at defending and getting out of his tight spaces, driving up the pitch. If he could just add a little bit more of that decision making in the final third, and I don't just mean even the shooting and getting his shots on target, but like against Spurs when he could have released Pulisic and he didn't. If he can just improve that element of his game a little bit, and we could be onto a class midfielder. So 3 points to him. As you can see how those points are tallying up. A few new players moving up the ranks. We'll see obviously how that goes. Still quite a few games to go in this player of the season point scoring system, so we'll see how that all ends at the end of the season. But that's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the game, and subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. Like I said, my preview for our game against Southampton will be out before it does commence, so stay tuned for that. Hope you'll have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.